Tyson Jake Paul fight was totally rigged, bro.
Okay, first of all, it was an exhibition. It's not. Maybe it was a quote unquote pro fight, but that's not. It's not a serious fight. Secondly, I mean, obviously it's set up like WWE. There's all the hoopla. Thirdly, from the first round, you could tell that Tyson was not. He wasn't competitive in that fight. Jake Paul could have knocked him out by the second round. He chose not to because he's a class act, I guess. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Jake Paul. There's a lot of negativity around him, and he's a troller and blah, blah. But at least as far as that fight is concerned, I respect the fact that he didn't try to knock him out because he could have. He could have been a total asshole, which would have been terrible for his publicity. It would have been terrible for his popularity and his brand to knock out a 58-year-old guy who looks terrible in the ring. Tyson looks terrible. He's been doing drugs for like the last 20 years. Cocaine. He was addicted to cocaine for a long time, and he's been doing weed and mushrooms and probably ecstasy and who knows. The guy is not, you know, he hasn't taken care of himself. There's 58-year-old men who are in way better shape. Unfortunately, that's the way he's chosen to live his life. That's fine. That's all well and good. It's up to him. He's a millionaire. He can do whatever he wants. More power to him. He's probably the greatest or one of the greatest boxers of all time. Arguably the greatest of all time. I think he would have knocked out Muhammad Ali. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. But you got to give credit where it's due. Give credit to Ali. Give credit to Tyson. In their days, they were monsters. They were tigers in the ring. So their days have passed. Mike Tyson's days have passed, and it's painfully obvious, and you can see it, and it's sad. Or I don't know if it's sad. It's just it is what it is. Everybody gets old. Everybody ages. I guess the lesson is to take your chances when you have them. Enjoy your life while you have it because you get old. And I think in a way maybe there were some people who were like, oh, Tyson still has it, so there's this little glimmer of hope in people. I kind of felt that way a little bit, like, does he really still have it? Could he be a monster in there? But if you look at his last fight with Floyd, which was also an exhibition or whatever, he looked bad in that. They both looked bad. So he looked way worse in this. This was just him getting through the rounds. That's all it was. And Jake Paul just totally took it easy on him. So for people to say, oh, it's fixed, like, it's not that it's fixed. It's that, I mean, maybe it was fixed, but, fixed in what way? Like, was it ever supposed to be super serious? People who really took it serious in the first place, was it really supposed to be a serious fight? I don't know if they even really hyped it like that. It was kind of just almost like a WWE fight. Like, they hyped it like it was like fake hype. Like, did anybody really think that Mike Tyson was going to knock out Jake Paul, or Mike Tyson was going to be amazing in there? I don't know. I think maybe a glimmer of people probably had a glimmer of thought of that, maybe. And, of course, pothead Joe Rogan's going to be all like, oh, Tyson's still a monster. He's still an animal. He's still got that in him. An old lion is still a lion. Well, unfortunately, when lions get old, they die. And they die pretty quickly once they get old. When they can no longer compete and make a kill, they die. That's just the sad reality of nature. But we're not animals. We're not beasts. We should celebrate our heroes, I guess. Is Tyson a moral guy? Not really, but he's, at least he's taken accountability for a lot of his issues, and he's been, outspoken, and he's got some wisdom to him, and he says some nice things once in a while. I just think it's sad that he doesn't take better care of himself. He's smoking weed all the time, which isn't good for your lungs. It's terrible for your respiratory system, and our body's synergistic. We need our lungs to be healthy. We need our heart to be healthy. We need our throat to be healthy. When you ingest a lot of smoke, it's carcinogenic. It's bad for you. It's bad for your brain. It's bad for your cells. I believe it's oxidative damage. Anyways, the list goes on. When you take drugs, that's why they say drugs are bad. And I hate this push where people are like, oh, drugs are good. Drugs are okay. They open up your mind. They're healing and all this bullshit. Like, you're making your body sick. That's why you're tripping. You're making your mind sick. Not good for you. Anyways, it was not, kudos, hats off to Jake Paul for not messing him up, for not knocking him out. I guess respect. Of course, it would have been terrible for his brand. It would have been terrible for his publicity and his popularity to knock out Mike Tyson, because if he knocked him out, people would have been like, "Oh, you knocked out a guy, a 58-year-old man." He couldn't have done that. But I also think that he also loves and respects Tyson, because most people love and respect Tyson, because Tyson has turned his life around, in the sense that he's shown his humanity. Is he a godly, righteous person? No, not necessarily, but he is what he is with who he is, and he gives good advice sometimes, and you can tell he's got a big heart, and you can tell he's got love in his heart, to whatever extent. So it's not that I'm trying to judge Tyson, it's just that, he's somebody who, there's a lot worse celebrities out there, let's put it that way. There's a lot worse people on this planet than Mike Tyson. I think he's a beloved person in our culture, and it's fine. It is what it is. But was that real? Was that rigged? No, it wasn't real. No, it wasn't. I don't think it was even rigged necessarily. It just was what it was. They wanted to make a lot of money. They made a lot of money, and there you go. It is what it is. It just was what it was. It was kind of sad to see. It was sad to see him have no legs. It was sad to see him, try to muster up some of his old stuff. You could tell he wanted it to be there, and it really wasn't. You saw some glimpses of it, but it's, you're 58. You're not 25 anymore. Sorry, it just is what it is, man. It happens to all of us, and that's why I guess the lesson is you gotta enjoy your life while it's there. Take your chances while you got them. Take your carpe diem, seize the day, because that ain't going to be here tomorrow. Life is not going to last forever. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Appreciate you listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.